about to go into a long-winded story from the past, just to spite me? It's because of what I said to you earlier. Is that it?
Captain Forest here, and in today's video, I'm going to be power scaling Shinobu from Demon Slayer. Now, I made a video on Tanjiro, and I got some pretty decent reception, got some people who are interested in the verse. If you guys have not checked out my Tanjiro power scaling video, I will leave a link in the description. So anyway, there is an audience for it, and I figured I'd deliver. Now, I'm going to go ahead, talk about Shinobu, talk about some of her feats and scaling, and then near the end of the video, I'm going to pretty much summarize and go over where she would scale. So, Shinobu is the insect Hashira. She has many feats and cool abilities. Her most memorable fight was with one of the second members of the 12 Kiseki called Doma. Shinobu is fast enough to tag Doma and damage him with her sword. Doma even comments on how fast Shinobu moves. Doma himself, being the second most powerful member of the 12 Kiseki, ranks higher than the likes of Akaza. Doma states that Akaza cannot beat him nor Kokushibo, and states that he purposely lets Akaza hit him. Shinobu would scale to Tanjiro that fought Akaza. If you folks have not checked out my Tanjiro video, please, like I said, I highly suggest you folks check that video out, but I will give you folks a very brief summary on Tanjiro's stats. Tanjiro did just that. This feat itself was calced around the small building levels of attack potency. Tanjiro would go on to face one of the 12 Kiseki called Gyutaru. Gyutaru had different calcs for his feats. Gyutaru used his blood demon art to destroy a whole village, which was calced around the ranges of 0.5 tons, aka building, to 35 tons, aka city block level, to the 182 kilotons, aka large town level. Tanjiro had to amp himself by 100 times in order to one-shot Gyutaru's head. If we include the 100 times multiplier to this calc, then Tanjiro, as a low end, bump him up from building to city block to large town, and large town to city level as a high end. There is a direct very impressive performed by Tanjiro, where he statue blitzes Tamriel and his balls with his raw speed alone. There were two calcs done for this, however, which range around the Mach 236 to Mach 3425, aka massively hypersonic plus, which is very impressive for Tanjiro. There are similar feats of this caliber, such as Tanjiro evading and tagging Akaza from behind, which was calced around the Mach 185 to the lower ends of Mach 18.51. Tanjiro would also scale to the feat that was performed by Senetsu, who blitzed Daki. This feat right here was calced around the Mach 509, aka massively hypersonic. This is very consistent, as Senetsu's speed is described by Tanjiro as the sound of lightning striking. So all these ranges apply to Tanjiro. Now I've given you guys both a demonstration and just a quick summary of Tanjiro's feats. Shinobu would scale to those feats too. She would upscale to that Tanjiro, which is very impressive due to the feat that she performed and her fight against Doma. So all this would just backscale to her. So that's going to wrap up the scaling for Shinobu. I'm going to go ahead and move over and talk about some of her other assets. Now, as a Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps, Shinobu is a very powerful and skilled combatant. Despite not possessing the physical strength to cut off a demon's head, which is common to the average Demon Slayer, Shinobu uses her creativity, ingenuity, and other physical attributes and abilities to more than make up for it. Instead of the traditional method of decapitating a demon with a Nishirin sword to kill them, Shinobu opts to use a modified version of a katana that acts as a stinger to inject a powerful wisteria-based poison that is lethal to demons. Before her fight with Doma, Shinobu had spent a long time poisoning her own body. This was used as a last resort against Doma when he would absorb her. The amount of poison that was in her body was around 700 times the amount, which would be well over enough to one-shot weaker demons. With all of this comes Shinobu's use of her insect breathing, which consists of 4 forms: butterfly dance, caprice. Shinobu leaps into the air and charges towards the opponent, stinging them multiple times with her blade to inject poison in just seemingly one strike. Dance of the bee sting, true flutter. Shinobu dashes at her targets with blinding speeds and uses the momentum of her speed to then strengthen a single thrust into her opponent and inject poison inside of them. Dance of the Dragonfly, compound-eyed hexagon, a 6-strike attack with which Shinobu aims to strike and inject her targets with multiple doses of poison at the target's weak spots, such as the neck, heart, torso, for example, in order to kill them with a large dose of poison. And lastly, Dance of the Centipede, 100-legged zigzag, an attack in which Shinobu uses her full speed to run in a zigzag pattern that confuses the opponent in order to create an opening for her to directly stab them in the neck and inject poison to kill them, with the stab's force and power being further enhanced by the momentum of her speed. Just like the rest of the Hashiras, Shinobu can use total concentration breathing. Total concentration breathing is a breathing technique which involves expanding one's lungs to intake as much air as possible, accelerating one's blood flow and heartbeat while increasing their inner body temperature, resulting in their bones and muscles becoming more excited. Using total concentration breathing essentially enhances the user's physical traits and capabilities. These traits include superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, endurance, and the mental abilities needed to keep up with their superhuman bodies, such as a faster thought process and reaction time. Being more proficient in total concentration breathing is key in raising one's survivability while fighting demons. This technique is also used to slow down the effects of poison and also to help close up open wounds to stop them from bleeding. Now lastly, another impressive trait about the Hashiras is their incredible level of fitness and endurance and pain tolerance. Shinobu was able to keep on fighting despite breathing in Doma's ice fog, which causes your lungs to go into necrosis, which kills off your cells in your body, yet Shinobu is able to keep fighting with these injuries and other injuries inflicted on her by Doma. So that's going to round up this video. Straight away, easily, Shinobu has some pretty decent scaling, anywhere from small building, get her up to the town levels of AP, which is very impressive. So she would scale to some of Tanjiro's feats, and easily with the speed feats as well, she'd scale to Tanjiro, you know, hypersonic, and there's some massively hypersonic stuff as well she would scale to very easily. That's going to wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for the content. It's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.